Okay, I think I'm live. I think I am. I think there's a song like that somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm going to check and make sure. If anyone sees me, please send a message over. In the meantime, I'm going on my phone to see if I am live here. It's always a little weird talking to myself and looking at myself on screen here. And it says that there's 2 people out there. Well, that's great. Let me see if I'm on the phone, though. It's always nice to see myself. Oh, there it is. That confirms it. I'm live. All right. Oh, Tracy Holcamp from South Carolina. Hi, Tracy, and Dana in Nashville. You guys are the first. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to talk today, and Susan's in Canada, and Lynn's in Phoenix. Hi, Lynn. Oh, I'm coming to Tucson in a couple of weeks. Oh, and here come the hearts. Oh, thank you. Thank you all so very much. And let's get my sleeves rolled up. We're going to roll in this one tonight. The title of this one is Reducing Our Risk of Dementia. And as you may know, those of you that are here know about this book, You Can Fix Your Brain. I want to read to you something. This is the dedication. As I write this dedication, tomorrow happens to be my granddaughter Mia's 2nd birthday. Her birth and early life experiences stacked the deck against her for survival. Multiple brain bleeds and other complications of a premature birthing, which not long ago would have been the sentence for a very short or very limited life. Every day I thank God for the medical technology that gave her a fighting chance to survive. And today, she's a thriving, feisty, top of all performance scales, 2-year-old, now she's 2.5, that leaves no corner unexplored, no book unopened, as long as it has colorful graphics, and who does not accept no for an answer. Mia models living life with a brain that will not stop for any boundaries, wanting to learn everything, processing information, continually building new neural circuits into an ever-expanding network of brain fibers whose results are visible every day as a happy, playful, engaging child, continuously modeling the joy of life. Mia! Excuse me. Mia! Come here, honey. I met my daughters in Chicago. Whenever we go on a road journey, it's helpful to have a map or a program GPS that gives you the options of the quickest route or the most scenic route, or where there may be construction ahead that will slow you down with alternative routes. This book is dedicated to my granddaughter and to you, the reader, that your brain can lead you forward instead of holding you back, and you once again can experience your own joy of life. So, it's 4 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Chicago, 7 o'clock New York, midnight in Poland. My wife's in Poland. Hi, honey. And this is our Facebook Live, Reducing Our Risk of Dementia. So Mia will come out here. I think she's, her mom's changing a diaper or something. I'm not sure. But Mia will come out in a minute. And those of you, I think it was last week, I would introduce you to her. And we'll do it again. Kasha's in London. Kasha, hi Kasha. Mindy's from Kentucky. Kelly's in Indiana. Ken, where am I today? Ken, I'm in Chicago. I've been here for a week. Where's Mia?
She's putting some toys away.
Oh, she's putting some toys away, so she'll come soon. Paula's in Alaska. Here she comes. Come here, honey. Come here. Come here. Come here. Look, look. Say hi, everybody.
Say hi?
Look, look. Here she comes. Here she comes.
Oh, say hi, 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 hi.
Say hi, everybody.
You blow a kiss?
Oh, she's blowing kisses. Oh, how great. How great. All right, that's my daughter and granddaughter. Get a little teary-eyed. Donna's in Prince Edward Island, Canada. Hi, Donna. Thank you for joining. All of you, thank you for joining. Joanne here in Illinois, where I am today. Tracy, love the book. Thank you, Tracy. I think it's a must-read for everyone that wants to protect your brain and have a well-functioning brain in your 80s and 90s. This sets the stage for you. I'm going to give you a number of examples today and some things you can do to protect your brain. I'll start by saying, for those of you that don't know, we have a Brain Master Class. And the Brain Master Class is me, 37, I think it's 37 videos that I've done on each one on one topic. Oh, my wife says, turn off your phone. You don't need it. That's true. I guess, well, I can see comments and questions here. So I'm, all right, I'll turn it off. All right. All right. There it goes. Thank you, honey. Okay. Alita says, hello, Dr. Tom. My 2.5-year-old Naomi and I are listening from Colorado Springs. Hi, Naomi. Hi, honey. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you so much. Cheryl O'Brien, spelled Y-A-N. All right, Cheryl's in Wellington, Florida. Tracy says, go Mia. Yay. So the big picture over, I was talking about the Brain Master Class, and there's a link I'm going to give you, or Marzi will post it also, but there's a link. It's the, Marzi can hear my phone, so I need to turn the phone off so it stops ringing. I'll just put it on silent. There we go. Okay. And let me look at the link here. Can you guys tell that this is Bootstrap Masterclass? No, Bootstrap Facebook. All right, the Brain Master Class is theDr.com, theDr.com /free my brain, free my brain. And you can learn everything about the Brain Master Class there. And I'll mention it a couple of times. theDr.com /free my brain. Kristen's in Pennsylvania. Margie says, hi, Dr. Tom, it's Margie. Hi, I had to stop the functional medicine program due to my gastric electrical stimulator, but I'm positive I'll find a way to get the 14 diseases healed one day. That's the attitude it takes, Margie. That is exactly the attitude. And it's always base hits. Base hits, baby steps win the ball game. So you just keep working at the things that you can work at, and hopefully you'll get a couple of pearls here today. The first thing I want to talk about is your kitchen. What do you do in the kitchen? And if you've read the book, or if you've heard me speak before, this one will be a repeat, but it's to make sure that everyone knows this, and that is get the plastic storage containers out of the kitchen. Give them to your husband to store nails in the garage. Because when you put food in a plastic container, the next day the food has phthalates in it. Phthalates are the chemicals that mold plastic. And those chemicals leach out of the containers into the food. Plastic wrap around your food, same thing. The phthalates leach out of them. Now, there is no study, and this is how the scientists get away with this who have a limited view. There is no study that says the amount of phthalates that are leaching into the food is toxic to humans. And I agree. There is no study that says that. However, when you cannot detoxify and get rid of the toxic chemicals you're exposed to, they accumulate in your body. And phthalates are a family of chemicals called endocrine disrupting chemicals, means they alter your hormones. And where they accumulate are in the estrogen and testosterone loving cells. That's, for example, the breasts and the testicles. That is a major reason why between 1974 and 2011, in that 37-year period, there has been a 59% reduction in sperm count in healthy men. Healthy men, not infertile men. Now, you know, numbers, we're numb to numbers. That doesn't mean anything to us. Until you learn, scientists worry about extinction of the species at 72%. And we've lost 59% in 37 years. What do you think is going to happen in the next 20 years, right? Phthalates are a contributor. They're a major category of endocrine disrupting chemicals that we accumulate in our body. And when you can no longer detox and get rid of them, they accumulate. Now that detox and get rid of them concept is called loss of tolerance, loss of oral tolerance. Things that we're taking in, our body cannot tolerate, and then the immune system gets activated. Or in this case, the immune system can't get rid of these toxic chemicals, so they accumulate in your body. This is the reason why the incidence of celiac disease has gone up fivefold in the since 1974. Fivefold increase around the world, fivefold. It's not because the wheat's worse, it's not the GMO. That, of course, aggravates it and accelerates the toxic effect, but that's not the reason. The reason is that we have so many toxic chemicals that we're exposed to, so many on a daily basis. I show the study on the Journal of Pediatrics, and this is a policy statement from the American Academy of Pediatrics. What does that mean? It means it's not a doctor that wrote an article that was lucky enough to have it published in this very important journal, the Journal of Pediatrics. A policy statement is approved by the executive board of the American Academy of Pediatrics. And what they've said is that the government has failed to protect children from the toxins in the environment that they're being exposed to. And then they said children, toxic chemicals have a much greater effect on children than they do on adults. They have a more immature immune system. They have a larger respiratory rate. They're inhaling more. The impact is greater on kids. And then they said, this is in the journal, the policy statement, it's 247 pounds of toxic chemicals per person per day that are being dumped into the United States. 247 pounds per person per day of the 340 or 350 million people in the US. Multiply that by 247 pounds, and you get 27 trillion pounds of toxic chemicals. And that's the amount that's being imported or produced in the United States every year. 27 trillion. That's 247 pounds per person per day, every single day. And that does not include pharmaceuticals, that does not include fuels, and that does not include food toxins like the pesticides on food. 247 pounds. And our kids are being exposed to this. Here's an example. They took 346 pregnant women, measured urine counts for phthalates. Now, we all have phthalates. We all do. There's no way around it. Every newborn child in America has, on average, 180 toxic chemicals in their bloodstream at birth. They measured the urine phthalate levels in these 346 pregnant women. They put them into quartiles, the lowest quartile, the next quartile, the third quartile, and the fourth quartile. They then followed the offspring for 7 years. At 7 years old, they checked the IQs of all of these children. Every child whose mother was in the highest quartile of phthalates compared to the children of the mothers who were in the lowest quartile of phthalates, every child in the highest quartile, on average, their IQs were 7 points lower than the children in the lowest quartile of phthalates. 7 points. That is substantial. And it's because the phthalates are toxic chemicals that inhibit the normal growth and development of the brain. So mom needs to reduce her toxic chemical exposures to protect her baby's brain, and then to protect the family afterwards. Well, how do you do that? Get rid of the plastic storage containers. That's a big source. Get rid of plastic wrap. There is a beeswax kind of paper that's much safer and is biodegradable. And you just go on Google and type it in, beeswax paper, and it'll pop up. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about, is just simple things that you could do in the kitchen. The second thing, oh, Margie's in Perth. Hi, Margie, thanks for joining us. Dwayne's here from Twin Keys. Susie says, hi, beautiful. Well, I hope that's not me. I hope you're talking about my granddaughter. Thank you. So the first thing you do is you get rid of the plastic storage containers. And how do you do that? You go in the book. There's 3 different URLs in here. And remember, the subtitle is just 1 hour a week to the best memory, productivity, and sleep you ever had. 1 hour a week to apply these principles. 1 hour a week listening to one of the videos of the Brain Masterclass, which is at www.theDr.com. What was it? theDr.com/free my brain. 1 hour a week. And you go in here and you look at the URLs for glass storage containers, and you go to mileskimball.com and you look at the glass storage containers, and you go to amazon.com and you look at their glass storage containers. Oh, I like those. And then you say, see, I need 3 round ones and 4 square ones, rectangular ones. I need 1 for pies. You order them, you pay with your credit card. It took you an hour. You're done for the week. But now, for the rest of your life, you won't have that minute amount of poisons going into your family's food every day that they're eating leftovers or things that are stored in plastic containers, because there's no longer stored in plastic. And some people write and ask, well, what about the plastic lids? Well, the phthalates don't drip unless you put hot stuff in them. So don't turn the containers upside down so the food's sitting on the lid. Just keep it right side up and you're fine, right? But if you put hot things in there, you can't use the plastic lids until it cools off. That's like going to the coffee shop, you order a coffee, and the steam from the hot coffee rises and condenses on the underside of the lid. It drifts back down into the coffee full of bisphenol A or other phthalates. You put the coffee cup up to your lips. The hot liquid hits the underside of the lid, tapers down into the opening. You're drinking your hot tea or coffee full of bisphenol A. So what do? You're going to go to the coffee shop, but you take a stainless steel container and you say, fill it up, please. Fill it up. And so that you learn, and that's in the book. There's lots of little pearls like that in the book. Another pearl that's in the book is when you're pumping gas, can you sometimes smell the gas? That's benzene. And if you're smelling benzene, that's a neurotoxin. That's a brain toxin. It kills brain cells. Whenever you're smelling it, you're killing brain cells because it produces inflammation. And the inflammation will kill brain cells. Well, I have to pump gas. Yes, but if you're smelling the gas, you're standing downwind. Walk around to the other side of the hose, and now you're standing upwind. You don't smell it anymore. It's just a base hit. You know, it's just one of those little things that you can do. One of those little things. Okay, let's move along here. Lori says, when is the master class? It's at your time frame. Once you register for it, it's there. You access it. You can watch 1 video a day. You can watch 5 videos a day if you want. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend that you watch 1 and kind of think about it and kind of wrestle with it. And how does that affect me in my life? There's 37 videos, so it'll take you a little over a month if you did 1 a day. And some of them are 5 minutes. Some of them are 15 minutes. Just pearls. And then action steps of what you can do to reverse the insult on brain function. Another thing you can do is, everyone should be doing this, but especially when you're thinking about countering the toxic effects of our environment, and that is to eat, a cup or more, maybe a half of a container of blackberries or raspberries or blueberries, always organic, every day. Because the polyphenols, the antioxidants, the proanthocyanins in the berries are anti-inflammatory that help to, oh, you gave me a blackberry. Thank you, honey. She gave me a blackberry. They have the anthocyanins in here, reduce the inflammation and protect your blood-brain barrier. So like Mia says, eat your blackberries. Oh, that was delicious. Thank you, Mia. Yum. So berries every day, every day. I always have 3 or 4 packs of frozen organic blueberries in the freezer. And in the evening, if I want a snack, I just grab a cup of frozen blueberries. I put them in a bowl with a spoon. I just eat them frozen. So it's a great, great, easy snack, but they're powerful in terms of foods for reducing inflammation in the brain, because they activate the anti-inflammatory genes in the brain. They also activate the genes to heal the blood-brain barrier. For those of you that have read the book, you understand this concept of B4, capital B, number 4. The geek term for it is a breach of the blood-brain barrier. A breach of the blood-brain barrier. I call it B4, so it doesn't sound so geeky. Ellen says, loved your interview with Dr. Anna Kabeka. Oh, thank you so much. Debbie says, hi from Kelowna, Kelowna. Sounds like that's in Alaska. I don't know, but thank you and hi. I see my staff has posted a brain masterclass link for you there so you can see it. Cindy says hello from Pennsylvania. So the purpose of these things, guys, the purpose of them is for you to get many, many different base hits. Some of them will be easy for you to implement. Some of them will be a little more difficult for you to implement. And you may think about it, may take you a few months, it doesn't matter. But the more of these little things that you do more often, if you have a bowl of berries once a week, that's a whole lot better than never having any berries, right? So if you can do them once a day, that's great. Mia and I start our day every day with blackberries. That's one of the first things we do. And then we make Marzi's banana pancakes. We call them no-no cakes. But Mia, come here, please. Maybe she'll come back and I'll ask her the recipe for the no-no cakes. The recipe, she's calling me from the other room. She wants me to read to her. The recipe is, let's see, Chucho Leo says TBHQ with a question mark and terrible. I don't know what that means, man. Sorry. The recipe for the banana pancakes is really simple and your kids will love them. Mia, I have a question. Come here, please. Please. Can I ask you a question? She likes to play. So the recipe, Mia, how many bananas do we for the no-no cakes? How many bananas? Okay, it's not going to work. Okay, it's 1 banana and 2 eggs.
And 2 eggs.
Yes. Mia, how many eggs?
How many eggs in no-no cakes?
2. 2. That's right. How many bananas in no-no cakes?
3.
No. 4. Right. 1 banana, 2 eggs. This is really simple, folks. Really simple. 1 banana, 2 eggs. Put them in a blender, blend it up. Frying pan, a little bit of coconut oil or whatever oils you're using. Coconut is really good. You want the pan hot though. Not too hot, but you want it hot. Pour it in there, put a lid on it, very low heat. 5-8 minutes later, maybe 10 minutes, you just check it, take the lid off and you take a look at it. And when it's ready, just flip it over and then turn the heat off. Don't put the lid back on. It's done. And it'll be remarkable to you how good they taste. I was startled when Marzi made them. I was just startled. Really simple. Me and I make them every morning, and they're just delicious. Just delicious. Okay, so let's move on now. Mindy says, plastic is out of the kitchen. Just received the best water filter I can afford. Also got a chlorine filter for the shower. Base hits. Way to go, Mindy. That's exactly right. That's exactly the attitude to protect and save your brain and the brain of your family, everyone in the family. Kin says, what about plastic knives, forks, and plates at a picnic? Exactly. Exactly. That's why when Marzi and I travel, we use wooden, you've got these little wooden dispensable, well, actually, I think we save them. Marzi found these glass containers at, what's the name of the Swedish store? Kelly, what's the name of the Swedish store where you can go and buy furniture? And IKEA, right? They've got these glass containers with a glass lid and a secure little metal thing on them. And we travel with them. Marzi makes some great meals that we put in there and we take them on the plane. And, when you're up at 30,000 feet and they're going by in the cart with the sandwiches and the not so good food, we open up our containers. I feel bad because people are looking, they're smelling the garlic, or they're smelling this delicious meal that Marzi's made, but it's really good. And we use wooden forks. So we've got these little kind of like dispensable, but we will reuse them, wooden forks, because the plastic silverware is the same thing. Anything that touches food, especially spoons with soups, you know, hot soups or that type of thing, you just want to avoid using plastic anywhere around food as much as you can, anywhere around food. Now, I've never seen a study about a plastic fork leaching phthalates into the food. It would be a minimal amount, if any, but I don't want to take the chance that I'm going to increase the load of phthalate exposures for me if I have an option. And someone mentioned here already about paper straws, that they don't use plastic straws, they use paper straws. That's really the right way to think. That is right on the money on how to think for this. Anna says, OMG. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Anna. Tracy says, look for bamboo. That's right. We found bamboo straws. You know, sometimes you go into a health food store in a new town or something, and on the counter there, they've got bamboo straws, or a few organic restaurants will have them now. But the more we ask for them, the more restaurants and stores will be carrying those types of things. What would you use as a replacement for foil? For aluminum foil? It's really a good question, because you don't want to use aluminum foil. The aluminum foil, when you see, we did a Facebook Live maybe 7-8 months ago where I showed the pictures of aluminum foil. What happens when you bake at 365 degrees for an hour and a half, 90 minutes, and then they just took a picture of the aluminum foil, they magnified it, you could see it was all cracked, they magnified it more, you can see these are all little pieces of aluminum foil that gets in the food. It's in the food. By the way, here's a pearl for all of you, and you know, thank you for being here, so I could just rattle on. I'm thinking Led Zeppelin song, ramble on, but here's a pearl for you. To pull aluminum out of your brain and to prepare your children for vaccinations, if you choose to get vaccinations for your children, get water that's high in silica, S-I-L-I-C-A. And many mineral waters are high in silica. I've read that Fiji is a convenient bottled water to get that's high in silica, but it's in plastic bottles, you know, so you're paying one price for another. But look for high silica, and there's some companies that have silica drops that you can put in your water. Silica acts as a magnet to pull, Marzi just texted me IKEA, thank you, honey. Silica acts as a magnet to pull aluminum out of your brain and out of your body. And it's the aluminum adjuvant in vaccines, and adjuvant means that substance that irritates your body and triggers an immune response. To make vaccines work, they have to have adjuvants. It used to be mercury, and it still is in some vaccines. But now, since the public made a big stink about mercury, they switched over to aluminum. And so, and you just have to go to Google and type in aluminum and Alzheimer's, and you see all the studies that come up that have been associating those two together for quite a while. So you want to pull the stored aluminum out of your body. Add silica to your water, or drink high silica containing water, mineral waters. That will always help. Susan says, I use mason jars. Way to go, Susan. That's exactly right. Christine asks, are vintage glass storage jars safe to use? If they're glass, they're glass. I don't know of any reason not. I know with crystal, you have to worry about lead, but for glass storage jars, I've never heard there's lead in glass storage jars. Lena says, hi, Dr. Tom from Canada. Sylvia says, hola from Barcelona. Hi, Sylvia. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your comments. Alan asks, how do you detox from phthalates? That's a really good question, Alan. The first thing is you have to have good methylation. Methylation is one of the paths of detoxing that our bodies do, critically important, critically important. And the things that help with good methylation, well, ideally, if you have a functional medicine practitioner you're working with, you would check to see, how's my methylation pathways, doc? And it's not something they commonly check for. They should, because we're all exposed to 247 pounds of toxic chemicals per person per day. So we want to make sure that our methylation pathways are working really well. There's two really simple tests for methylation pathway. Some doctors will look for the genes to see if you have a gene to not methylating very well. But if you carry the gene, it's called MTHFR, that's the gene. If you carry MTHFR, that's one of the genes, the primary one. If you carry that gene, then as all of you have heard me say many times, you're at risk of not methylating. It doesn't mean you're not going to methylate. It means you're at risk of not methylating. You pull at a chain, it always breaks at the weakest link, one end, the middle, the other end, your heart, your brain, your liver, your kidneys. And I talk about methylation a lot in the Brain Masterclass, and that's at theDr.com /free my brain. I think I've got 2 videos on methylation in there, and I talk about this in there a lot. The urine test that you can do to see if you're methylating well, one is called FIGLU, F-I-G-L-U, which stands for forminyl-glutamic acid. You know, if you're a geek, you like saying that, but it's easier to say FIGLU. So you can just say FIGLU, F-I-G-L-U. And the other is methylmalonic acid, MMA. They're part of a test called the organic acids test. It's a simple urine test, not hard to do. Costs a couple $100. It looks at maybe, I don't know the number, 40 different compounds in the urine, but it includes FIGLU and methylmalonic acid, which are biomarkers of poor methylation. So how do you get rid of phthalates? First thing, you have to be methylating well. That's first. Second, you want to mobilize and get this stuff out. How do you mobilize? Aerobic exercise. Not anaerobic exercise, aerobic exercise. What does that mean? You have to wear a pulse monitor. It used to be around the chest, a band around the chest with the watch set to your alarm. Now you can wear the Apple Watch and others. You just want to set the alarm to your aerobic range, which for most people is 180 minus your age, plus or minus 5. And that's the range. You take 5 minutes to warm up, then you turn the thing on, turn the alarm on. And when you're in your range, it's silent. If you're too high, a pulse, beep, 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 beep. Oh, I'm too high. If you're too low, it goes beep, beep, beep. Oh, I better pick it up a little bit. When you're in your range, it's silent. And you exercise in your pulse range. The goal would be 30 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week. That would be the goal. And you have to work up to that. For some, it might be 10 minutes to start with. And just taking a walk for some people can be aerobic exercise. If you are swinging your arms or you're carrying a little weight with you, like some soup cans, or you get some weights around your wrist, you'll figure out what's it going to take to get your pulse into that range. But you have to know about the range first. Lynn Trock says, throw the frozen blueberries in the Vitamix and you have a great ice cream swap for a snack. That's a really good suggestion, Lynn. Thank you for that. Those are the kind of things that are just so simple to do once you know them. Sean's here from Parksville, British Columbia. Thank you. Cindy says, so precious. Dana says, love her. That's my little star granddaughter. Tam says, hello from Toronto. Tracy says, I'm a darling grandfather. Oh, thank you, Tracy. That's sweet of you. Dr. Tom, is there any fabulous foods for my adult autistic daughter to maintain and avoid on a daily basis, please? For someone who has a brain that's not functioning in the way that they would like it to or that you would like it to, you have to test. You have to see what's really working and what's not working. Of course, there are general principles, but the tests now are so easy to do, and they're so accurate. They're called the Zoomer panels because you zoom in on the problem. The wheat zoomer, the dairy zoomer, the corn zoomer, the soy zoomer, the peanut zoomer, the lectin zoomer, the neural zoomer. I would not hesitate for a moment, Shirley, in getting those zoomer panels done. And you'll see on our website that the laboratory has some kind of an offer, and I don't know what it is, I'm sorry, but I know you saved like $500 in doing all these tests or some amount like that. Please don't hold me to the dollars. Dr. Tom said I can save $500 and it's only $400. Sorry, I don't know the exact numbers, but I know that the lab has got some great offer because they want everybody talking about these tests. They want the world to know about them. And when you do the Zoomer panel like that, you find out exactly, without any mistakes, These blood tests, the technical terms are 97 to 99% sensitive, 98 to 100% specific, meaning they're right on the money every time. There's never been blood tests this accurate before, you know, but it's new technology, and most docs don't know about this, but this is where it comes from. I call it the 30-30. It would have taken a 30 by 30 room 30 years ago, floor to ceiling computers, to produce the computing power of this phone. 30 by 30 room. Now, today, I can find out what's the particulate matter in New Delhi. I can find that out in 30 seconds now on this phone. That's the computing power we have today. The same kind of leap in technology has occurred in laboratory medicine. But the labs are using technology. It's, you know, the good tests, really good tests, but the tests are, some of them 10 years old, 25 years old, longer. And so they haven't kept up. Well, these Zoomers are cutting edge, right on the money. They can do 6,000 different tests in one blood draw with this type of sensitivity and specificity. It's really remarkable. Dropped my jaw when I learned about it. And it was Mayo Clinic that wrote 2 different articles about it. They call it a new era in laboratory medicine. That's their language. Let's see. We've got Tam Gann says, what are the main causes? And I'm not sure what you're referring to, Tam. So you write back, and if I see it, I'll answer the question for you. What do you think of eating 2 tablespoons of coconut oil per day to help your brain? You know, if you, I'll get to that question. In terms of the detoxing, to get the phthalates out, I started to go there, is that you have to be able to mobilize. And I talked about aerobic exercise, but the first and most important mobilization tool is water. You have to be hydrated. And it's a ½ ounce per pound body weight. Everyone should be drinking a ½ ounce per pound body weight. Why? Because then you have enough liquid to flush out and get rid of the stuff that you start mobilizing. And if you aren't doing that, you don't want to mobilize a lot. You don't want to detox, because this stuff will just sit in you. Once you mobilize it out of your fat cells, that's where it gets stored, is in your fat cells. Once it gets mobilized out of the fat cells and it's in your bloodstream, it's in your lymphatics, if you've got sluggish movement there, there's a big difference between the purity of a fast-running river and a river that's just barely moving at all. You know, there's a big difference. And that's what happens in your body. So you've got to be hydrated. That's the first and most important thing. Now, the question that I was getting to about coconut oil. What do I think about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil to help your brain? I just said it's how important it is to drink water. However, you drink too much water, you drown, right? There's a lot of studies that show the benefit of coconut oil, a lot of studies. But too much coconut oil, you cause B4, a breach of the blood-brain barrier. Medium chain triglycerides and saturated fats cause a breach of the blood-brain barrier. Saturated fats cause a breach of the blood-brain barrier. Just read the studies. What is that important? Coconut oil is a saturated fat. So it doesn't mean it's bad for you, but excessive amounts of it would be bad for you. See, that's why it's so important to be eating the berries, because what you're doing with berries is shotgunning in something that you know is going to help to heal the B4, the breach of the blood-brain barrier. Talk about it a lot in this book. I keep plugging this, and please give this book to your friends as a gift. If you've read it and you're like, oh, thank God I read that, I know some things now, give it as a gift. You know, we need the whole world to know about this stuff, and to know about B4, and to be talking to their doctors about it, and to get the labs doing more of these tests, so that we can have information in identifying the problems that are developing in us years before the disease comes. That's the goal here. That's the goal. Okay, and Marty Gallagher says, and no plastic water bottles. Unfortunately, Marty, that's true. That's true. And when you get water bottles that are BPA free, and they put that on the bottle, but they're plastic bottles, they've got BPS. BPS or BPX, one of the two. and those are more potent than BPA as toxins. It's just that there's not been enough of a stink yet, so the manufacturers, for marketing purposes, are saying we're BPA free. Now, when they say phthalate free, that's a really good thing. Where's another source of phthalates? Nail polish, cosmetics. Now, you know, I'm driving down the street here in the area where my daughter lives, which is an upscale kind of area in Chicago. And, you know, you see nail salons, and right on the window, they say toxin-free, phthalate-free polish. So they're proud to put it right on the window. So you go in the book, and you look for cosmetics, and you look at the URLs we give you, and you go to those URLs in your 1 hour of a week, and you go to that URL and you see, look for nail polishes that are phthalate-free. Because when you put polish on your nails, within 3 to 5 minutes, it's in your bloodstream. The phthalates are in your bloodstream. Now, there's no evidence that the amount of phthalates that are leaching into your bloodstream from your nail polish is toxic to humans. There's no evidence that I've ever found. But it's the accumulation of this stuff over time that's the big problem. It's a huge problem. Okay, Becky says, so many people now are buying Sprinter vans to live in, and I'm wondering how safe it is to sleep in a vehicle night after night. Also, is gasoline or diesel more toxic? Diesel's the worst. Diesel's, please don't buy diesel cars. And when you read air pollution studies, they measure the particulate matter based on diesel exhaust, because diesel is the worst for putting particulate matter in the air. You know, there is this green, honey, what's it called? Green what in the environment now in Washington?
The Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal. You know, there's young congresswomen and congressmen that are talking about the Green New Deal, like 0 emissions within 15 years. Everything's electric. Everything is hydro-powered. You know, get rid of coal, get rid of gasoline. And that's quite radical, but it takes radical thinking to make a change. So it starts with, don't buy diesel. Before you do, before you think about it, well, it gives me better mileage. But that may be true. But when you look at the pros and cons, look at the effect of air pollution contribution from diesel. And I think you'll be startled and you'll see why you don't want to use diesel. Susan says, I'm learning so much. Thanks for all the ideas. Oh, you're welcome, Susan. This is nothing compared to the Brain Masterclass. I spent months putting that together, and I'm holding the research paper in my hand when I'm talking to you, and I'll say, look at this study, and I hold it up, you know, but I didn't forget anything there. Here, I'm just kind of going off the top of my head for you guys. But please consider the Brain Masterclass and give it as a gift to people. We made it really affordable. Right, you know, but I got to hire videographers to come shoot this stuff, and there's lots of behind-the-scenes stuff that I don't need to tell you about. But it's very reasonable. So take a look at it, everyone. Just take a look and see what you think. Lynn says Volvic water. Yes, Volvic water, I believe, has good amounts of silica in it. Iva says foil is of the devil. Okay, so I'm assuming you mean aluminum foil. And it's, you know, we grew up with aluminum foil, and you think it's okay to wrap your baked potato in it, you know, and throw it in the fire, and campfires and all that. The problem is, if you do that, you can't eat the skin. And I love potato skins, right? I've always loved potato skins. Shirley says, OMG, Dr. Tom, you're fascinating. Bless you. Thank you, Shirley. Iva asked, silica? Yes, that's it, Iva. Cheryl says they make straws from pasta. Not sure if gluten-free, but used at this Italian restaurant I ate at in Fort Lauderdale. They make straws from pasta. Well, I'm not sure I'd suggest that, because they're not gluten-free if they're made from pasta. Jim asks, can tooth work cause brain fog or ringing ears? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, this whole thing, why do dentists give you antibiotics when you go to a dentist? There's only one reason that I know of, and I've talked to dentists about this and they agree. When the dentists are working in your mouth and they squirt water in and you lean over and you spit the water out in the porcelain basin, you've got pink water or you got red water. That's blood. You got leaky gums. They've just perforated the seal of your gums on your teeth. Now, your oral microbiome, the bacteria in the mouth, there's hundreds and hundreds of families of bacteria in our mouth all the time. Hundreds, I'm not exaggerating. Many of those bacteria are not so good for you, like strep. Everyone's got strep. It's just a question of how much of it do you have, is whether you get strep throat or not. You know, but everybody's got strep. When you've got a perforation of the gums, because the dentist has been working there, it takes 2 to 3 days for that to heal. Mrs. Patient, the fastest growing cells in the body, the inside lining of the gut every 2 to 3 days. Well, it starts in the mouth, goes to the other end. It takes 2 to 3 days to heal. During that time, saliva's in your mouth, the bacteria in your mouth. If any of that bacteria goes through the leaky gums and gets into the bloodstream, if it's strep, your immune system may make antibodies to fight the strep bacteria. That's a good thing. When your immune system makes antibodies to fight the strep, it's just firing its chemical bullet at strep. How does it know to identify strep? It looks for a signature, like a vest. Look for orange vest. And it goes around looking for orange vests in the bloodstream, and that's strep, and that fires its bullet at orange vests. And it's a protein signature. That signature, that orange vest, looks almost identical to the valves of your heart. So the antibodies to strep may attack the valves of your heart. If they do, that's rheumatic fever, and you can die from that. So the dentists give you antibiotics so that if any strep bacteria gets into your bloodstream from the leaky gums, there's antibiotics in your bloodstream circulating to deal with it, so that the strep doesn't have a chance to colonize and to grow and then activate your immune system to fight it. So the antibiotics are saying, I got this, don't worry about it, immune system, relax, so that you don't make the antibodies to strep. That's why the dentists give you antibiotics. So in answer to your question, when you get strep in your bloodstream or many other bacteria, by itself, it can cause leaky brain, B4. So yes, it's a very common cause. When they do biopsy of Alzheimer's patients after autopsy and they biopsy the plaque in their brain, they've got lots of bacterial antibodies, including strep in there. Many different kinds, in Heliobacter and herpes, virus antibodies. So you really want to clean up your oral cavity. That's why we talk about dentalcidin. Dentalcidin is a toothpaste that you can use that helps to keep your oral microbiome healthy. We're working on some other products now. Marzi and I are trying them right now to see how effective they are to protect your oral microbiome. And I'm not ready to talk about them yet. I'll let you know down the road when we are, guys. So you'll know. Debbie says, are infrared saunas good for detoxing from phthalates? Oh, they're good for detoxing from everything, Debbie. Many different toxic chemicals and heavy metals can be identified in the sweat when you're doing infrared sauna. So absolutely. And the way I recommend to my patients to do infrared saunas is to take some niacin before they go in. Niacin is a vasodilator. It opens your blood vessels. And if you take too much niacin, you start itching a little bit, you know, and you look in the mirror and you're red. You go, oh my God, you'll be fine. Just drink a glass of water. You'll be fine. So Mia's got an empty paper towel tube, and she's looking at it, calling me like she's looking through a telescope. Hi, Mia. Do you want to show my friends your telescope? You want to come over and show my friends? Okay, come on over. You can show my friends. So dentalcidin, it's on our website. You can get dentalcidin and try it, see what you think of it. Faiza says, oat test. Oh, here comes Mia with her telescope. Okay. Show them how it works. So look in, there it is. We'll say hi. Mwah. Uh, so let's see. Let's go to another one.
Thank you for the book.
Oh, you're welcome, honey. I gave Mia a copy of the book, and I wrote it for her. It's to me. I said, this is your book, and I showed her name in the book. That's the dedication that I read to you to start this Facebook Live off today. Mwah.
Yeah, hearts.
Yeah. Look at all the hearts. Yes, look at all the hearts because they see you, and they're happy, and they're throwing hearts at you. They're all for Mia. That's really nice. Riza's here from the Philippines. Ivan Sam is here from Gainesville, Florida. Vicky says, good information. What water system do you recommend? I'm not sure, Vicky. I really haven't looked. Linda's in Chicago. That's where I am, Linda, right now. I haven't looked at water filtration systems in a few years, but the minimum that you want is charcoal granulation, 2-micron filter, and reverse osmosis. That's what you want. And some people say, but reverse osmosis takes the minerals out. Yes, but you shouldn't be getting your minerals from your water. You shouldn't be depending on minerals from your water. You should be getting your minerals from your food. So if you're drinking water where most of the minerals have been taken out in the reverse osmosis to get the heavy metals out, you shouldn't be causing a mineral deficiency. And if you're taking our GS sensitivity packs, 1 pack a day to help to heal the gut, and by the way, it also helps with turning the genes on to heal the blood-brain barrier. So if you're using the GS sensitivity packs, you're getting your minerals. So it's more important to get clean, pure water and get your minerals from your food. That's why you want organic foods also, because you look at the studies. When you look at organic broccoli compared to inorganic broccoli, there's a world of difference in the vitamins and minerals in the organic broccoli compared to the inorganic. How is that possible? Corporations, these major industrial corporations, are really proud that their soils are just about dead. All of the microbiota, or most all of the microbiota, has been killed in the soil, so that they don't have any variance. They just use the nutrients they want, NPK, to produce tonnage per acre of whatever the crop is. That means there's no zinc, there's no strontium, there's no magnesium in the soil, or very little. It's been leached out because of crop after crop after crop after crop. And that's what you get when you get inorganic food. By the way, in a couple of weeks, my good friend, not doctor, but he's really so much smarter than all of us, Jeffrey Smith from Institute for Responsible Technology has a new movie coming out. We'll be telling you all about it in the next couple of weeks about organic versus inorganic food. Marzi watched it today. And she told me, she said, oh my God, I'm getting rid of all the greens that are not organic. I said, well, honey, you have to eat. And you're in Poland right now. So if they don't have organic, you eat the inorganic because you got to have vegetables, right? It's more important. So don't think black and white, people. Just keep thinking base hits. Base hits win the ball game. Emily says, hi, Dr. Tom. What are your thoughts about us drinking A2 only milk, which is less allergic to sensitive people and historically what cow milk was as Mother Nature designed, meaning not the regular A1, A2, which is mostly what's around today in the grocery stores, and the A1 is what people have issues with. Yes, that's very true, Emily. That's all very true. But once you've made antibodies to the proteins in dairy, it doesn't matter if you drink A1 or A2. Those proteins are still there. The A1's homogenized and it's modified a bit, but the protein structure that your immune system reacts to is also in the A2. If you want to know, you do the dairy zoomer. 97 to 99% sensitivity, 98 to 100% specificity, meaning it's right on the money every time. You do the dairy zoomer, you see you got a problem, get off of dairy for 3 to 6 months, do the test again, you see you don't have a problem anymore, then go drink A2 for a few weeks, then do the test again, you'll see the problems come right back. And antibodies to dairy are a big source of the breach of the blood-brain barrier. And when you have B4 breaching the blood-brain barrier, as you know, if you've read this book, or you certainly will know when you take the Brain Master class, DrTomOBryanGlutenFree, that when you get B4, lots of molecules get into the brain that shouldn't be there. Your immune system trying to protect you fights all these molecules. Now you get inflammation in the brain. Now you get collateral damage killing off brain cells. And 10 years from now, you got a problem. So you can't drink A2 if you have antibodies to dairy. If you have no antibodies to dairy, A2 is a much healthier milk to drink for you. So if you come back negative on the dairy Zoomer, I have no basis by which to say don't drink dairy. I have no basis. But it's rare that someone comes back negative. That's how common this thing is. And Lori Parker says, what about EMFs from battery cars? That's a really good question, Lori, and that's a problem. I've thought about a Tesla someday in my life, and I'm going to go in, when I test drive a Tesla, I'm going to have an EMF meter, and I'm going to measure how much EMF pollution is in the cabin of this car when I'm in there. You know, that'll be a determinant factor. Lynn says, I signed up for the masterclass. Can't wait to dig in. Thank you for doing all that work for us. Well, thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you. Tell your world, please. Tell your friends. Kristen says, I get really irritated around trucks with terrible exhaust fumes. I try to get away as fast as possible. That would tell me that your sensitivity level is through the roof. A little bit more, and you feel it, and you get anxious, and you want to get out of there, which is a good thing. But that would mean, do I have one here? Maybe I have one here. I didn't think to talk about it. I do have one here. You need to do this.
No, this is the wrong number.
You need to do the smell biomarker test, because 60 to 65% of all Alzheimer's patients clinically are inhalation Alzheimer's. It's what they're breathing over the years that has caused the inflammation in the memory centers of their brain and eventually causes the memory problems. Now, your sense of smell goes right to the memory center in your brain. It doesn't go anywhere else. It goes right to the memory center first. Why? It's to protect you. It's to protect you in case you smell saber-toothed tiger. Your ancestors smelled saber-toothed tiger. They got to get out of there. And so your sense of smell is actually much more refined than you know. That's why smell is so important. And when you do the smell test, the way it works is it's like a lottery thing. You scratch the bottom there and you say, now, what smell is that? Is it tomato, menthol, strawberry, or licorice? And then you grade it. And there's 12 pages of that. You know, there's 12 different ones that you check. This is from the University of Pennsylvania. It's called the UPSIT test, University of Pennsylvania Smell Identification Test. And it's extremely accurate. If you have 10 or more correct, you're in good shape. But if you have 9 or less correct, you got a problem. And that would be the motivation to look in more detail. You read my book and you understand what to look for. So that was a really good question about exhaust. And you have a warning system that's saying likely you crossed the line of inhalation tolerance. Yeah, honey, that's my picture. That's me in there. Yeah. Judy says, dentists don't have you spit. They suck out some of the water and the rest go down your throat. I always gag when my mouth is wide open and that stuff goes down my throat. I agree, Judy. I've had that happen also. But for me, they've always squirted in there also at one point. Tracy says everyone needs to look for a biological dentist. Yeah. Absolutely. Audrey says, I coat my potatoes with coconut or avocado oil, bake in stoneware, fish with lemon, and butter and glass with lid. I'm on my way over for dinner, Elizabeth. That sounds really good. Elizabeth Cromwell, that sounds really good. Kelly Coldmeyer says, Revitin toothpaste is good also. Great. Don't know about that, but great. Thanks for that suggestion. Cynthia says, can you recommend a portable infrared sauna? No, I don't know of a portable. There are some out there. I just haven't looked into them. We've talked about saunas before. There's one on our website. It's great. I really like it a lot, but it's not portable. All right, folks, it's 6:59 here in Chicago, 4:59 on the West Coast, 12:59 in Poland. I want my wife to go to sleep. And so I'm going to sign off and say, if you think this is of value, if this one's been of value for you, please share it with your family. Please, share. I don't know how you do that. Oh, Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Oh, you're a little late, girl, but that's my cousin Carol in Pittsburgh. So please share this with your family and friends if you think it's of value, and give us likes on Facebook. But the more you share, the more Facebook gives us some marketing. I don't know how all that works, but the more you share it, I know the more people we can reach. So please help us that way. And I'll see you next week at the same time. Thank you so much. Mia, do you want to say bye-bye? Go. Oh, okay, okay. Mia says bye-bye. Okay. See you next week, folks. Bye-bye.
She's got to eat.